Welcome back, baseball fans. 1972-75 Carryover League. We're looking again at the 1974 card set. Getting in the American League East all the way to the National League West. Extra players, waived, retired guys, nameless cards. We looked last week. We popped the box open. We looked at the American League East, the American League North. Let's finish the American League with the American League Midwest. Take a little break. Go to the American League West. We'll begin with the Chicago White Sox. 74. We're going to look at keepers. Then we'll see, of course, guys who are presently on the team in a different year. And just a quick peek at the rookies. Bill Melton, injured in 72, has a really good 73. This is 74. His defense is bad. Plenty of power. Average is down, 242. Probably the second best card in the timeline. Wilbur Wood still cooking in 74, though we know we want him in 72. Same with Brad Lacy. He's still around. He's with the Giants now. But this is the guy of the keepers. This is what you want. Bart Johnson's 1974, 2.73 ERA. Look at the walks. Look at the 32 walks, 122 innings, which is a career low for him, and dominates righties. And now you got him in the rotation. You don't need him to help out in the bullpen anymore. Clearing a spot for Goose Gossage to be drafted into this team as the closer. We have Forster with a different card, though this is a good one. Dick Allen, good to know that he'll still be chugging along by 74, though the defense is not that great. Carlos May really starts to lose it a little bit here. Bonson is really getting knocked around here. Well, Bucky Dent, we could improve him if you want to give him full-time shortstop duties. You have Stinson in a better card. Buddy Bradford, interestingly, he's got a card where everything's over here and there's nothing over there. Now this card, boom, it's all over there. Look at the gaudy batting average. But this is the cautionary tale. You just don't get to use this card that much. I mean, you know, yeah, he kills lefties, but, you know, most of the damage you want over here. So the other Bradford card that we presently have will probably stick around. Tony Muser does pretty much the same thing. So with that, we can take another quick peek at the guys in their second year of rookie eligibility. Now, these two guys are guys who, if they're not drafted by the first 4 rounds, become free agents. That's because it's their second year in the rookie class. So Brian Downing is okay. You know, he's got some power in the walks. We know he's going to be a great player in the later part of the 70s. And here's Gossage's 74. You see why this guy didn't get drafted a year ago. He's okay as a middling reliever. But they said, let's wait till 75 when he's a dominant closer. And that's what the White Sox have done, specifically. They're counting on that. And that's what they're probably going to do. Take Bart Johnson in this year and then take Gossage in 75. Next up, the Royals. They traded for Fran Healy, who was just a part-time catcher for the Giants, and then 74. That's a lot of plate appearances. That's a good catcher. He's also got a good 73. 2 good years as most everyday catcher here for the Royals. Patek, his bat is going to fall in this timeline. He's going to be a 2. You'd like to see if he's still a AA stealer one of these years. Rojas has a nice year here in 74. Not bad at all, 271. And Splittorff, how many games does he win? 13, 19, 410. I think he can do better than that. And then, of course, guys that are moving along different years. You got Marty Patton. Now he's more of a reliever. Bob Oliver is starting to get near the end here. He can still hit righties. Lou Piniella, if you want to rejuvenate him, you can. But, yeah, he's going to be a Yankee in 74. Probably will have a trade in the offseason. That's my guess. I think Lou Piniella will time out. Take another year in Kansas City before we move him to the Yankees. A. Kirkpatrick, catcher, utility knife. What a great player. I mean, he can hit lefties, walk against lefties, play all over the place. Very useful guy if you want to bump him into this card. We have Mayberry in a better card, of course. Like I say, all these cards that I'm going through quickly, we have in better years. We have Nelson's Magnificent 72. We have Otis's very good 73, I believe. This is 74. And Bird. Let's take a look at the rookies now for your Kansas City Royals, or in the second-year rookies. Jerry Hairston, not so much there. Craig Cusick, corner first baseman against lefties. And Frank White, who's just not ready yet. You know, his defense is not there, nor the bat. He needs more time to develop. You see, sometimes it takes a familiar name to Kansas City, the history of this franchise, to kind of sit in my carrier league a little bit and wait till he gets really good before you start sending him in there. So, plus they have Cookie Rojas, so they could overplay. They can, you know, they can keep Cookie Rojas in there a few more years while Frank White gets his legs underneath him. Milwaukee Brewers. They traded for Pat Kelly, who nobody really seemed to want. He played for Kansas City, played for the White Sox, played for Baltimore. They all seem to have stacked outfields. Brewers had an opening. I mean, so they said, let's trade for this guy, and this could be the year. Your leadoff hitter, that'd be pretty good against righties. No defense anymore, but he really was never a great defensive player. And John Briggs. Kind of the same kind of guy, but a lot more power, doesn't have the wheels, bad defense. Can hit lefties a little bit. Kelly and Briggs, the only two guys they can make eligible. Then you have the, you could improve Ogilvy, but that's okay. That's good. You could bump him up to that card, 270. You traded for Ollie Brown in the offseason. You still have Mike Torres, who actually bounced all over the place. He was with Oakland, the Expos, the Orioles, the Yankees, Boston. He's all over the place. He's one of those free parkings in Monopoly. We find a team that is short a pitcher, we trade Torres to him. Have suitcase will travel. Probably pitches here better than he does with the Yankees. We have Scott with a 73 card, as Coleman's. Porter, 73 is actually a little bit better than this, 241. But this team is going to have a huge number of rookies. Beginning with, they have a corner outfielder, Coluccio. A little mix of speed and power is kind of nice. They could make Pedro Garcia a rookie second baseman, though they have Ron Theobald to play second next year, so he'll have to probably wait. Tim Johnson, utility player. Stick's okay. Second, third, short in the outfield, and a good bunter, so he could get in there as a left-handed bat. Charlie Moore could platoon with Darryl Porter. Bill Sharp, sort of a better version of Tim Johnson, a left-handed hitting outfielder who can actually catch the ball. Billy Champion's a starter 6. He's okay. Nothing spectacular out of Billy. 361 ERA. Good one-loss record. 162 innings. I guess I was thinking it was a starter 5-4. 6-4 is okay. I don't like starter 5-4s. But that's not bad. Kevin Cobell, lefty starter. I'd rather have the lefty starter 6-4 than the righty. And you could use him in the bullpen where he can get lefties out. This card might get into the league. It's pretty good. Bill Travers, a lefty only, eventually becomes a starter. Puts a lot of guys on with a walk. He's okay. And that is your rookie class, second-year rookie class of the Milwaukee Brewers. Next up, we'll do the Minnesota Twins. Then we'll take a little break here. The Twins. By 74, I'm starting to think that their Hall of Famers are near retirement. They do have Leo Cardenas, who has this really great card in this particular year in a small sample size just against lefties. If you want a platoon, you're not going to get any defense. You're getting nothing over here at 37%. So this is going to be a high average, 272. But when you look at that percentage, this is probably 320 over here. But no power. Double plays. So again, just like we saw that Buddy Bradford card, yeah, it looks awesome. Then you have to justify, well, how much is he going to play? But yeah, he'll get into the league, of course, as a you know, platoon utility player against lefties. He just may not play a lot. Then they have Killebrew, who's pretty much getting close to the retirement. He's still with the Twins, but he still has 28 homers and 72. Oliva is now a full-time DH and does a nice job with it. Particularly, he always hit lefties really well. Does it again here. And he's one of the better full-time DHs, plus he can hit and run. Look at that. It's about 15, 20 home runs. 13 and 500 and some plate appearances with a 285 average. What a great finish for Oliva. And this is the Tom Murphy transitioning to a reliever. Really good. Was a starter. You might want to put this guy in the bullpen now with this card because it's a 1.90 ERA. And that is exceptional. That's outstanding for the Twins. Twins always had great bullpens in Strat, going back to Peranowski and Reichert and Stan Williams and so forth. You can approve Phil Ruth to a 75 card. This one's not very good. Joe Levito never was much of a hitter. Good defensive player. You could bump Goltz, take him out of his rookie card and put him in here. He's still not pitching on 3 days rest, though. Blyleven is always pretty much good with the Twins. No particular year stands out more than the next. This is an outstanding year for Blyleven. As a starter 8, if that, you know. If he's a starter 7, you want to make him a starter 8, we could do that. Jim Cott's got an outstanding 72. And in 74, this is another really good year. Look at that. I didn't realize he was this good with the White Sox. And the Twins could steal the White Sox player. I don't know if the White Sox have room for a lefty. They have, well, they have Forster and Wood and Dave Lemons. One more year. Cott ends up going to the Phillies, going to the Cardinals. He's all over the place. Carew, this is the 364 year, but we have his 350 year, where he's a 2 at second base and a double-A stealer, so that's why we picked that. And Mitterwald, full-time catcher. We already have him like that. Nice Heisel card if you want to bump this up. He already has like a 280 card, 286. A little more power, great card. Jim Holt, presently in his best card. That's not very good. So now let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Twin rookies. Steve Bry, center fielder. No homers at all. No power at all. Good batting average. 488, 500 plate appearances. Full-time player. Center fielder. Could be eventually he's a corner outfielder with a good arm and some power, but not so much here. But definitely this batting average is worth getting in the league. Then you have Vic Albury, a starter 7 lefty. Probably competing with Jim Cott for that rotation spot. Joe Decker. How about they have a deep farm system, the Twins do. This guy can pitch on 3 days rest. Look at this. Plus they have Jim Hughes, who can do the same thing. They had Ray Corbin, who they traded away. Boy, there's plenty of pitching in the Minnesota farm system. Joe Decker. You might have to... They might have to shoehorn him in. Remember I said if you don't pick Decker by the 4th round of the draft, he's a free agent, and someone's going to draft him. He's going to be in the league, so it's up to the Twins to figure out if you're just going to give him away for nothing or just take the guy. Let's take a break, and then I'll go into the American League West. We begin the American League West with the California Angels. Mickey Rivers, this could be the card we take for him. 285 card. He actually led the Angels in hitting with his template. Yeah, he's got the great bat handling and base stealing. Never drew a lot of walks. But yeah, I would go with this one. Shaw's better in 73. He still can get on base, but not very good anymore now. Spencer, we lamented that he was a 2 and didn't have power in previous cards. He's back to being a 1, and he's back to the power. And they also have Darren Johnson to platoon with this guy, so I don't mind it all over here. Little technical difficulties there. So it's going to be Rivers and possibly Spencer. They also have LaRoche in a better card, along with Borgman, Upshaw, Baylor. You could bump up to that card. Nolan Ryan's in his best card. Bill Singer, we already have him on 3 days rest. Here he's no longer there. Rudy Meoli, Bobby Valentine. Let's take a peek now at the California rookies. Here's an infielder, corner, second and third, good batting average, not much defense. Winston Lennis, a 261 hitter, but not, you know, it's okay. It could get in the league, but you're not crazy about that. Tom Paciorek, still a little bit too raw here. He's a 2 in the outfield, hits lefties decently. Was a Dodger, yeah. Tony Saleta, 3 at first base, but you already have some first basemen you like. Spencer, trait chip. Probably not being drafted, probably a free agent in the latter part of the draft. Interesting player, though. A lefty who is okay against lefties, okay there at first base. Dick Lang, starter relief. He's okay, just a guy we like to say. Dave Sells, not very good. Not quite just a guy. Just an average guy compared to Dick Lang, for instance. That is the rookies of the California Angels. Next, Oakland. The final of the dynasty years to look at. We didn't like 72. We liked 73. So let's see where we fall at 74. Is it the second best year? Probably, if I had to guess. This is the Dick Green card we'll probably take because he's got that 2 defense. We really want the defense. Oh, never mind. I think in 73 it's 262. So I don't know about that stick. Made the big deal for Al Downing and Mr. Don Wilson. So Downing here, that's a good starting pitcher. 367, but just 98 innings. He's got a better year than one of the earlier ones. Don Wilson still starter 7, still pitching on 3 days rest. Really out-pitching Vida Blue in this timeline, which is one of the reasons why they made the deal for Don Wilson and Al Downing. Let's take a look at the carry-ons. Hamilton, great against lefties, but he gets knocked around over there. We know Kenny Holtzman's in his best card, but in 74, he's still 307. Joe Rudi, he's got a fantastic 72. This is almost as good. Pretty much similar, really. A little more power, defense the same. I think he hit 300. But good to know that 72 and 74, you get a similar performance for Joe Rudi. Mike Higgins obviously going to come down from a 329 card, but this one's got power, plenty of it. And Catfish Hunter. Now, he's got an ERA of 2. Here it's 249. Good to know that 2 years after 72, he's got a card. It's close. 72 is better, though. 72 Hunter's better than this one. Bando. Terrible 72, great 73, and back to being the mediocre 74. Gene Tennis. Bad 72, great 73, and back to being bad again in 74 with plenty of home runs and walks. And, of course, Reggie. Great in 72, MVP in 73. Here the speed and arm are there. Homers are down slightly. Batting average is down a lot. Probably 275 and 29. 289 and 29. Close. So just down slightly from 73 to this. But still better than 72. So that really proves that the 72 A's were the worst, and rally fingers, that they were the worst of the 3 years in the dynasty. The rookie, they got one rookie left in the second year, and it's Jim Todd. And he's actually a pretty decent setup guy. Could replace Bob Locker or Ron Taylor in the bullpen for this team. That's not bad. Doesn't really matter too much, the long man, particularly for a playoff team like Oakland. We'll seldom pitch. All right, Seattle. Steve Klein has a brilliant 72. By 74, he's getting into Jag territory. Yeah. Skip Lockwood, he turns into a brilliant reliever. Here he's just learning the trade and not doing very well. 4.33, but by 75, he'll have a sub-2 ERA. Grimsley has a couple nice years for Cincinnati and Baltimore. Here with the Orioles, 3.07 ERA on the rotation. So, you could go Klein in 72, maybe Grimsley in 74, and then Lockwood in 75. They presently have Danny Thompson with a better card. John Ellis has got a 294 card, but this is pretty good. Probably 278. 285. It's got another 285 year in 79 coming up. So always had a good bat as a catcher, corner, first base kind of guy. Bill North, we have him as a AA -2, 2 in center already. Does the same thing. Backs it up. 73, turns into 74. Rich Folkers was a starter relief. Now he's just concentrating on relief only, and that's a heck of a card. Wow, that's a really nice card for Folkers here. ERA of 3. If you're as bad as Seattle, you got to take advantage of improving some of these guys. Chris Arnold's a 300 hitter, but back here he's only 290. Or, excuse me, 280, 240. Busby's got a 4.23 ERA. If you bump him up here, it'll come down to 3.39 and win 22 games. So that's another move this team could make. You know, I really like this team. I like them being much more competitive if you can make Folkers a dynamite lefty in the bullpen and make Busby a great starting pitcher, joining Klein and Grimsley and Lockwood as a closer. That's half your pitching staff is much better than average. For a fictional team, remember Seattle didn't exist back here. Their rookies probably aren't going to be particularly good because their rookies are leftovers from other teams. You got Mike Phillips, a left-handed hitting utility infielder, always viable. Bruce Bochy would eventually be an all-star for Seattle when they have the all-star game at the Kingdom in '79. Here he's with the Angels, does a pretty decent job. Angel Hermoso. You know, these guys who don't hit very well, you really need more. You need more positions. You need more flexibility there. Good bat handler and a C stealer. But as an infielder against lefties, it's just not going to work if you can only play one position. Dave Schneck in the outfield, just not enough stick. Dave Pagan eventually joined Seattle in the latter part of the 70s. This is too many bases on balls here. He's actually not that bad against lefties, but that's just too many bases on balls for this league. You know, 514. Not bad for the Seattle Mariners. And lastly, the Texas Rangers, who have really made some strides. Been adding guys like Toby Harrah, Len Randall, Mike Hargrove in the last few years, Jeff Burrows. So they're really turning the corner. Unfortunately for the Rangers, they kind of just flatten out. They don't really go to the playoffs. Maybe that'll change. They have the rights to Dick Bosman as a starter 6. This is a decent card. Adequate. 4.11 ERA. Not bad. Bill Hands, acquired from the Tigers through the Cubs. He has a better card than this one. 4.19 ERA and 74 with the Rangers. Also pitched for the Twins. Lindblad, he's a fantastic 72 for the Texas Rangers. Now what's interesting, he's with Oakland here in 74 with a similar card. So you want to keep him away from Oakland as much as possible. I'd take the 72 Lindblad and then in the off-season dangle him in a deal and get a lot in return. You can't let Oakland just get this guy for nothing. You got to make sure you get some compensation. And again, if you're wondering about, you know, I don't know what you call the most important players. Like, remember, like I said, like Joe Morgan, getting him to the Reds. A really important player, I would call Lindblad a very important member of that Oakland pitching staff that won the World Series in 73 and 74. So normally I like to see those guys end up on those teams. So that means a trade is imminent after this year. Look at this catcher versus lefties, Dave Rader. He could just see the ball really good on the inside corner and wow. 291 average. Heck of a card. That's worth improving just to destroy lefties. Improve Joe LaHood as well. They got some good improvements here. Not Grieve, he gets worse. Nelson gets worse. Burrows is an MVP here. That's the MVP card. He's got 30 homers in 73, but you can improve him into the MVP card. Same with Harrah. He gets a lot better. And look at all the power against lefties. Good to know at least. So even if you don't improve these guys into these cards, you'll get them by the time the 74 is year one. As soon as the present, Raider, LaHood, Burroughs, and Hara cards expire, move them into this year if you have the space. 2 years at a time. So, because you only can have, of course, 2 players from any particular year. And lastly, we'll take a peek now at the Ranger rookies. Second-year rookies. Here's Jim Sundberg. -2 arm catcher. Power against lefties. This card can get in the league. I think he could platoon with Dave Rader. So that's worth, that's worth getting in the league. Jackie Brown's a starter 7. Nice year for Texas. Texas really didn't have a ton of great starting pitching. But this is a good performance. And he pitches on 3 days rest. Another reason. This is really legit. I think he could get in the league with that. David Clyde, we know his story. High school graduation, then he's in the major leagues. He's a starter 5. He's getting knocked around. It's a shame. Maybe I'll do this guy a service and just wait a little bit later. Not rush him. How about a closer for the Rangers? How about 74 Steve Foucault? Close it out. 144 innings. Relief 3. Yes, sir. This is a really good batch of cards, folks. I'm really impressed with this Texas team. Maybe it's the Rangers who challenge Oakland, because California's never really put anything together. Seattle seriously struggled. They've got huge holes in that roster. Stanhouse not very good. But this team, remember, because I said they already added Mike Hargrove, Toby Hara, a good Dave Nelson, a Jeff Burroughs, and a Lenny Randall, that, they'll have a good Lindblad. And again, you could bump up 2 of these guys this year and bump up 2 more next year. Another reason why I'm not crazy about bumping up Burroughs is he already has a fantastic card. I understand it's an MVP. It's just an award. Sometimes they give you the award and you're not even as good as you were the previous year, which is the case here. He might have actually been better in 73 than 74. Anyway, that'll do it for the Texas Rangers. And this box is halfway through. We'll pick up the National League next time we get together. Thanks for checking out 72 to 75 card set analysis. We'll see you next time.